Coach, I know you and Syracuse played a few months ago, but what did you take away from what you saw, what they did last night? How do they look different? And do you anticipate them attacking you any differently based on what you saw in their first tournament round game against Nebraska?
Well, I think they'll be, pretty similar to what they were from an offensive standpoint against Nebraska. I think defensively they'll probably be a little bit different. I think for the most part, what they did to us in the Bahamas worked for them. So, maybe they'll have the same type of game plan and, being in a collapsing zone. If they do decide to play man, I think we'll be prepared, for whatever style of play that they choose to use against us.
Question in the middle.
Quentin Hillsman said last night that he's looking forward to the rowdy crowd. He's looking forward to the challenge of playing. How do you impart to your student athletes that, how much of a challenge and opportunity that Syracuse is taking this game?
Well, for us, we're really focused on us. We have goals set out. Syracuse just happens to be our opponent. So for us, we're going to approach it the same way. We are, have to really focus in on the task at hand, which is, being able to do what we've done all season long. I think our crowd will create an atmosphere that, is exciting for any, opponent or our team, but I'm totally happy that we're playing at home, so our crowd can get involved because they've been, truly amazing throughout this entire season.
Question on TV in the back.
Coach, kind of on that same note, you guys obviously have a huge home court advantage, but how much more of an advantage is it when you're playing a team that really hasn't experienced that type of atmosphere before?
I don't know. Maybe they have. I think they play in the ACC, so I'm quite sure they've played Notre Dame and the likes, and they've played in front of big crowds. For us, it is, putting on an old shoe, as we're used to playing with a lot of people in the stands, and hopefully, our fans will create an environment where it's difficult for them to, relay the point guard to relay the play call, for the coach to relay the play call, for them to, run their stuff as smoothly as possible.
Question up front.
Donna, you look at the scouting reports, like going to the Bahamas where you knew you were going to play them. Now you kind of have a short turnaround to play. What's the difference in a scouting report in the regular season as opposed to this time of year?
Well, in the regular season, we had, a shoot around to prepare for them. Here, we at least have a day and a half to prepare for them. Obviously they are, a little bit different, from what they're doing. They're a little bit more aggressive than they were, just pressing, a lot more. They're a little bit different in that, when you lose someone like, a Henderson, it shortens your rotations a little bit. And, I think, with Syracuse, they'll come up with some kind of game plan that will combat, anything that we're trying to do. So, for us, thankfully we played a really good non-conference schedule, and, thankfully we play in the best conference in the country. So I think we'll be prepared for whatever they throw at us.
Question in the back.
Don, I know you guys have seen a lot of zone all year. Is there anything particularly unique about the way Syracuse plays it?
Well, the way that they've played it, and I haven't seen them play it the way they have played us in the Bahamas, where they just really, stayed committed to packing it in and not give our post players any room to operate down there. And they did a really good job boxing out. And what we did was we knocked down open shots. I thought Tina Roy did a great job in the second half when we played against them, opening the floor up. I thought Tiffany Mitchell in the first half, hit some threes for us. I think she hit 3 of them. So what we're going to have to do, whether they're in the zone or man, is knock down open shots. And we still have to get the ball into the paint. The more outside shots we hit, the better it is going to be for our length inside.
Question on the back on TV.
Coach, in the SEC tournament with Tiffany, after she had a quiet game against LSU, the next game she comes out, puts up some big numbers, really seems to have just a different feel. How do you sort of get that same response after maybe a sluggish performance in round 1 to sort of get that same outcome in her second go-around here at home?
Well, Tiffany Mitchell is the ultimate competitor. Obviously she puts a lot of time and effort into, being the player that she's become. And, good players always find a way to have an impact. And sometimes that impact is on both sides of the ball. So we've seen this before where she hasn't performed to best of her capabilities, but we also have seen what she's done, the following game. So we anticipate her getting back on the right track and helping us get a second round win in the NCAA tournament.
Question up front.
Dawn, back when you played these guys in November, you thought, you knew kind of what your team was going to be about, but yet you hadn't seen everything unfold. What did you learn about your club in a tight game like that? How much did it lead to what we saw the rest of the season?
Well, I thought that was our first test of being resilient, just finding a way to win a basketball game. Although it was, not the prettiest, we found ways. And, for us, all season long, this team has, really been able to make adjustments and, figure out how you win. And it's going to take that kind of effort as we take on Syracuse again in the second round. It's probably going to take that effort if we want to advance, past the second round.
Up front.
Just sticking with that, I mean, how good a sign was that for you, or like a checklist that you could check off and say, okay, we can do this if we're pressed. I don't have to work on this going forward.
You have a tendency as a coach to rely on your experienced players. They have been through that, and I was fairly calm in the Bahamas because we were down by I think as many as 12 at one point. But it just takes time. We're going to get Syracuse's best effort. For us, the game is 40 minutes, and when we're able to, use our depth, it pays off for us. So, for me, obviously it's a big game. Our players want to advance, and we're not looking, past Syracuse, but, they are a formidable opponent that we look forward to playing here at home.
In the back on TV.
Coach, I know we've talked about this a few times, but now it really is the end here at Colonial Life Arena for Elisa Welsh and Ella Mipium and Olivia Gaines. Talking with them last night, I think it started to hit them a little bit that this really is the end. Do you have to coach them any differently tomorrow to help manage their emotions going into their final home game ever here inside the CLA?
No, but I've asked them all season long to just stay in character, so I have to adhere to what I'm asking them to do, and I have to stay in character. Obviously, our fans put the seniors in a great position to even be playing here in Colonial Life Arena in the first and second rounds. I'm quite sure they want to send them off with the bang by having an incredible crowd, something that they've been used to all season long. I'd be disappointed if only 2,000 people show up, which I don't think will happen. But it is the end for them. They have made an incredible impact, not only on our team, but this community and this university for being, the epitome of what student athletes are supposed to be.
Any more questions for Coach Staley? Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.